We're recording from inside a real haunted location. The ghost gear set, the veil thin. Expect raw energy, real conversation, and maybe a few voices that don't belong to the living. This isn't just a podcast, it's a summoning.
Trigger warning, discussion of death, embalming, and post-mortem care. This interview contains in-depth conversation around sensitive topics, including death, grief, embalming processes, autopsies, and the realities of working with deceased individuals. Some content may be emotionally distressing or unsettling, especially for those who have recently experienced a loss. Please proceed with care and take breaks if needed. Your mental and emotional well-being come first.
So as disturbing as this all may be, you're not disturbing at all.
Not at all.
Have you gotten that before? Have people called you disturbing?
Yes, I have actually, but it's only the minute that they find out that what I do. Other than that, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so nice."
Madam, says the spirit talker. They're like, "Madam, you are so nice."
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're like, that's me, Madam Nice.
Madam Morbid.
Unless you piss her off.
Here at Ghostcraft Divination, we do talk to the dead as well as each other. We are at the Apache Hotel in one of their haunted rooms, and we have the ghost gear on. So spirits, come touch a button. And if you have a question, throw it out there. Go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewers and let them know what it is that you do.
My name's Kaylee. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I work in the mortuary.
That is so cool.
Why do you do it?
I take really great pride and I love honoring people and the way that people are able to say their final goodbyes.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So it's more for the family or for the deceased?
Both, but more than anything, the family, because the families are the ones that want to see their loved one for the last time. But it's also about respecting the wishes of the dead as well.
Ooh.
Nurse.
That, exactly.
You mentioned earlier something about your family is in this line of work.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So I grew up in Belen, New Mexico, and I have family that own a funeral home there, and I just kind of grew up around that. And when I was a teenager, my mom went into the industry. She became a mortician. She embalmed and everything like that. And then my sister got into it as well. So she is actually also in the industry. And then I came out here to Vegas, and I was a blackjack dealer for a while, and then I did pit boss and shift manager, and then started feeling that this was not my path of life, and so I decided to get into the mortuary business and follow my family.
But you guys don't work together.
No, we don't work together. They're all in. My mom is retired from it now, and then also my sister is still in it, but she's in Belen, New Mexico.
One day you'll come together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Where I work at is basically it's in the care center, so we are completely separated from doing the arrangements. So we have no contact with the families unless we are doing removals. And then when we're doing removals, and yes, of course, we have to talk to the family because we also have to give them that comfort of where their loved one's going, what we're going to be doing, where they're going, all that good stuff. So, I mean, basically what I did was that didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew that I put in an application for the mortuary, and I was a funeral service person for a while. And then I shadowed. So basically funeral services, I worked the services. So I would set up the caskets or the urns and make sure that people go to their seats, make sure the next of kin is happy with what they are seeing, and make sure that the color's correct. Everything is going the way that they want it to go. And so when I was in services, I did that for a little bit, and then I got an opportunity to shadow into the care center, and they actually ended up really liking me and grabbed me and said, "You're coming in here." And so they brought me into the care center, and I started doing what I do now.
That is amazing.
Did you do hair and makeup prior?
Nope. It was all hands-on learning.
That's wild.
That's amazing.
But I do want to say that the hair and the makeup is a lot different on a decedent than it is a living person, because the makeup we use is a lot thicker, a lot more oily to keep the skin from dehydrating.
What about the hair texture? Does that feel different?
The hair texture, it could be a little bit different, but of course we deal with all different hair textures. So it is a big thing to learn every type of texture of hair.
Oh, wow.
I even learned how to use a hot comb, and I learned how to straighteners, curling irons.
Dang. Okay.
Everything.
That is so freaking cool.
And the nice thing about that is the person you're learning on doesn't have to go like, ouch.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're okay.
Yeah.
In the beginning, what was the biggest difficulty of having to go into this work in general? Not necessarily the makeup, not necessarily that, but just the death industry and dealing with that.
Emotionally, it's the emotions. It's definitely a job that it takes a special kind of person. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything at all.
You should.
It's definitely you can either do it or you can't do it.
Yeah, and that's not saying special, like, oh, she's more special. She's talking about, like, personality.
Exactly.
Like, a certain personality can handle that, and some people can't.
Yeah, because there's some people that they see it and they get...
It's amazing.
I agree.
Oh yeah, definitely. But it's definitely like the emotional part, because it's definitely dealing with the loved ones. I would be in the back corner of every funeral crying my eyes out, because they would just have these beautiful pictures and all of these like stories, and and the biggest ones for me, I just we're just family sitting around and talking about stories about their loved ones and how they really, really just enjoy themselves, and how they loved that decedent or that loved one, and how they really just miss them. And I'm in the corner crying. Oh. Just so everybody knows, I'm in the corner crying.
But did the crying ever stop, or is that just...
No, it's what's it called? It's we have cases that really hit hard sometimes, and we love to see the pictures, and we love to see, and kind of see what we can get from the person. The loved ones that come into our care, it's I don't know, it's just very emotional.
Yes,
and because it does have a lot of emotions attached to this industry. So I think that's the biggest one is the emotions.
Yes.
Because you can't go in cold-hearted, not thinking, oh, whatever, it's a job.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to think this is somebody's loved one. Yeah. This is hard for them. So it's our job to make it as tolerable and as easy as we can make it for them.
So from going into this line of work, and you're dealing with something that a lot of, at least us Americans, feel like is taboo. We do not want to talk about death. We got to put trigger warnings when we're talking about it. But in reality, it's something that comes to us all, and it's not anything any one of us can ever escape. So it really should not be taboo, but it is.
Absolutely, yes. And actually, because we do deal with a lot of different religions, and there's certain religions that are so comfortable with it, and like they love them, they miss them, but this is the circle of life. This is going to happen to all of us. Whereas we have, like you said, the Americans, that we find it so taboo and so like scared, like you look at the Hispanic culture and they celebrate death. They are so like, it's a part of them, and they understand that this isn't the end. And I don't believe that this is the end. There's something more beyond what we know. And it's not for us to decide what is on that other side, but just to know that there is another side, and to know that our loved ones are still with us. They still peek up. They still say, hey, what's up? So.
Yes. And even when they're not your loved ones, they still peek up.
Absolutely.
I'm in the shadows.
Yes.
Just creeping around.
Uncomfortable. So in this hotel, Savannah had a very strange moment with something that's hiding in the shadows, and that's where my mind went. And now I'm just picturing
I know.
coming around the corner. What's up, guys? How you doing?
No, it's actually Ashley's sheet ghost that haunts my dreams.
Thank you, Savannah. That's the nicest thing you've ever said.
And then...
How do you feel about Satan?
About Satan?
Yeah.
Such a random ass question.
It came from the ghost, the one that hides in the shadows.
Satan? Well,
If that is you asking that question, you could touch this REM pod in front of us and it will let us know at any time that that was really your question. Okay, we're good.
yeah.
You don't have to answer that if you don't want to. Yeah, so when you go out with your friends and you just had a day at work, you know, and you're dealing with death on a regular basis, which is not normal for the world, how do you cut that off and view things to fit in with the rest of society?
Yeah, how do you balance that?
I think I've gotten so comfortable with death that I'm enjoying my life.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I really enjoy my life like this. I've never done this before. I would have never thought of doing this before. And here I am trying something new, you know. It kind of opens up a whole, like, so many doors for you, because when you're around death, you're going, well, you know, it happens. It's going to happen to all of us, you know. We're not going to be able to escape it. So enjoy your life. Enjoy what you can. Eat what you want. Do what you want to do, you know. Try something new, you know. Travel. Just do what you want to do in your life. Like, enjoy your life, you know. Enjoy what you want to do, is what I would
Is
say.
that the kind of advice you get? Ooh. Is that the kind of advice you give for a friend? Like, you know, they're coming to you for advice and you're just like...
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to die someday. Can you just write it out?
You know, somebody comes up to me and go, well, I have so many problems with my boyfriend. And I'm like, well, dude, this is your one life. So are you...
Dump him.
Yeah, dump him. Like, do you really want to be stuck with that? Like, come on, dude. There's so much thing to do.
Really. Yes. Call us in and we will answer all your relationship dramas. Once a month on a full moon.
Yes, exactly. But
you're not happy with that relationship? Dump him.
Absolutely.
Or her.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, and then me and my coworkers, we go to wrestling sometimes. So we'll go to the wrestling scene and we'll go watch wrestling matches or go out for a drink afterwards. And then, you know, I come home and then, you know, I sit down, I have my dinner, I have my boyfriend with me, and we watch our television shows, we chit chat, we laugh, we talk, you know. And I think too, being so close, I think so close to death, I think I've stopped really holding myself back in who I am, because I've always been kind of, you know, like, I've always been really nice and everything like that, or like really awkward. I've always been the weird kid.
No way.
Absolutely not, but...
Not you. You know what? Christy did talk that you had some ghost experiences.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So tell us about that. When did you realize that you can sense the other side?
Since I was a little girl.
When did that start? Tell us.
So, I lived in a little house, and what's it called? I had an imaginary friend that was a little girl, and, you know, it really freaked out my mom because, from what I understand, the gifts are also passed down from generation to generation to generation. And so my mom was really, really terrified of it. And she just didn't want us to have, like, my mom was very like, no. So she made me out. Sorry, Mom. She made me out to be, like, no, you're making it up. Like, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. And so, you know, until she realized how on point I was on things. And then it wasn't until a little bit later that she really confirmed, like, she was like, no, yeah, like, I know you weren't lying.
Do you think that she was doing it in a way to hopefully, like, in a way protect, you know, that child fear of, like, being afraid of stuff like that?
I feel like it's more rooted in her own fear that she hasn't processed.
Yeah, she was definitely like...
Because you weren't afraid of it. You're like, this is my friend.
Yeah, I was like, what's up? This is
like, oh, no, not that bitch again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking Gladys.
Yeah, she hides her socks.
And exactly. And so, I would see these things and I would hear these things and I would see them and talk to them and everything like that. And then as I grew, when I got into my preteen age, it was still there. I was still able to see it. I was still able to understand it, see what's going on and stuff. But I think too, my mom didn't really, like you said, it was very rooted in her own fear. And I think that because she always told herself, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. So it's, you know what I mean? So she tried to push, not push it on us, but tell us no, it's not real. I think it's just your imagination and stuff like that, And so when I got into my preteens, my grandmother actually ended up with Alzheimer's disease. We really dealt with a lot of stuff going on in the house when she got that.
Activities.
A lot of activity. A lot.
Okay, I gotta know. Yeah, what kind of activity were we talking?
I'm talking about we used to have a lamp that was a touch lamp. What's it called? My mom had witnessed it. We would witness it going off. So it would touch, dim, touch, mid, touch, bright, touch, off. And it's a touch lamp. It's not on and off switch. It's a touch lamp.
So what do you think that was? Do you feel like that was your grandma's energy or something else?
I think that there were people to greet her and to help her onto the other side.
Flash! After you talked about the light on and off. Yeah. Okay, so you're listening to the story. It's a good story, you guys.
And so the activity really amped up the more closer she got to death. And I think that was really a key point of how close I was to death as well, because I was witnessing it. I witnessed it firsthand. I watched my grandmother, and she actually before she died, because my mom knew. It was really, really interesting, but my mom knew she was getting ready to die. And so she called all of our family members because my mom wanted to make sure that she died with family next to her. And so I remember just something telling me, we need to leave the room. And so me and my sister left the room, and that's when she died, because I don't think she wanted us to really witness it. The minute we walked into a different room, it was because it was just really weird. It was just that kind of feeling you need to leave. And I was like, Madison, come on, and I took my sister into the next room, and
wow,
she passed away the minute we walked out and into the other room. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I remember that very, very, very fresh.
Ghost hunting, have you ever done it before?
One time at Christy's place, All Saints Lunatic Asylum, with my boyfriend Alan, and
what was that?
Nothing good.
Christy left us alone in All Saints Lunatic Asylum, and I'm so used to it, and I know you are too. You guys are, I'm like, okay, yeah, and my boyfriend, he's, are you here? Say something, and I told him, I said, you just have to sit here and just let it happen. Just let it happen. You'll feel it. And he was like, okay, yeah, and then we were in the chapel. Yeah, whatever. That was his exact. Yeah, we were in the chapel, and, I was, standing there, and of course he's doing his, who's here, say your name, why are you here, and yada yada yada.
Were you guys using apps to get answers? He was just saying that to
we just wanted an experience. Yeah. So it wasn't technically ghost hunting. He wanted an experience. And
I mean, that's pretty wild to be calling out and saying that stuff and having nothing to really be able to respond.
Exactly. I think he had his phone out, I think.
So he did have an app.
I think he had not an app, but I think he was recording something.
Oh, trying to get EVP.
An EVP, I think it was. Since he's been with me, he's more of a believer, but this experience, I think, really opened the door for him.
Okay. So
basically, we were in the chapel, and we were just sitting there, and, and I told him, I said, just let it happen, babe. Just sit down in silence. And so he did. And then he got kind of spooked. And I think he could, because the energy was from here, and then it just dropped real low, if you know what I'm talking about. So that real low vibe that you get, and the room starts tilting a little bit. And so I was like, it's here. Okay. And I think he got a little okay, let's go back, you know. So
And that was enough?
that was enough. That was enough.
He's like, I take it all back.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. And I think the one mannequin that moves around a lot was freaking him out too, because the energy around that one is really, really heavy duty.
It's very disorienting in that room, and you're in there and it starts to make you feel like you're kind of losing your mind a little bit.
Yes. It's, I don't know how the girls that work in there work in there.
I was just thinking that the cults, like, how are they doing in there for so long?
So we finished in because he got really like, I think he felt it too, because he's not as high as like how I am, but he's very like, he was like, okay, yeah, let's leave. And so like we started walking backwards. So, and she had the machines on, you know, so she had the angel going off. She had the graveyard digger going off, the cat, Billy. Yep. So as you're walking, and you know, we work in there for so long and we know what sounds go off. So we know how we go off, you know. And so we get to, I believe it was the doll room, and we moved because Alan doesn't like the doll room. He's like, And so we got into the doll maker's room, and we were sitting there, we were talking, and we could hear people talking behind us. And I went, shh, do you hear that? Just quiet. And he's like, what is that? And I was like, I don't know, but just listen. And we could hear full-on conversations happening behind us. I said, that's nothing of what Christy has the sounds going off on. So he goes, all right, hold on a second. So he walks and he kind of like opens and he's like listening, and we could hear talking throughout the haunt. And then behind us, because remember, we're in the doll maker's room, we hear the angel go off, the gravedigger go off, and all the other mechanicals going off in the line of it was coming to get us. Like, it was coming for us.
So what did you do?
So I stood there, and Alan was like, oh, hell no. And he ran. And so he's like, we got to get out of here. And I was like, well, you know, I said, it might be like Luke or something walking through. Maybe he doesn't know we're in here by ourselves. And so he's like, I don't care. We need to get out of here. So we storm out. We get out, and we get to the front, and Christy and Stephanie are all the way in the corner, setting up the movie theater. They were up front, and Jay, they were all up front setting up, getting the haunt ready. And he was like, hey, were you guys in there? Like, did you guys? And they were like, nope, we've been out here setting up. And I was like, yeah, we were in there by ourselves, babe. We were in there by ourselves. And he was like,
no, we weren't. We were not alone.
He's like, I know what I heard.
Yeah. That, I think, freaked him out. And I think after that, he spaced out in trying, like, he just did not want to go back in there.
His whole reality of what he thought the world was like crushed.
Exactly, yeah. But
yeah, absolutely shattered.
Ever since he's been with me, though, he's been becoming more and more and more like, oh, wow, this is real. Okay, this is...
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And especially with me, because, you know, I go, oh... something's there, because what's it called? He does have loved ones that come in and check up on him. So I always let him know. Like, I'm like, hey, this person showed up last night, just letting you know. And he goes, really? And I go, yeah. So.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. Because, like, I did do an investigation during the haunt there. And I have to say that the activity wasn't as noticeable. And so maybe it's not as pungent in there during haunt night.
I feel like it's probably more so they're sitting there and just feeding off of it. Yeah. They're just like, this is a buffet of just...
I don't need to scare you. It's just serving.
I feel like it's more like it's like... Yes. And then when it's ready, it... You know what I mean? I feel like it breathes. The haunt breathes.
Yeah, we call it the bees, remember?
Yeah.
I never heard that one before.
That makes sense, though. Perfect sense.
Yeah, because during haunt season, I don't really notice anything, and it's very quiet. And it's actually, surprisingly, yes, it's very, very quiet in the back of the mind, the third eye, or whatever you want to call your senses. You know what I mean? It's very, like, stable. So it's more, like I said, it just feels like that's taking that, it's just kind of like breathing it all in and kind of like collecting it as much as possible. And then when it's ready, it just...
Well, if you think about it, that makes perfect sense because of the pauses in between the haunts. It's like I have to sustain this energy until I can get another fix.
Exactly.
That like made me get weird goosebumps in places I really enjoy. And that's the back of my knees, you guys. Don't you worry. So, your intuitive abilities, how do you feel like your job that you're doing today has changed that?
I'm not as scared of it anymore as I used to be. I was very like, a lot of things would reach out to me and I'd go, nope, I want that. And I would just like try and like, do the, I don't know what you're talking about, And then as I grew into what I'm doing now, I'm so comfortable with it. Like, it's literally something can happen and I go, all right, what do you want? Okay. And I just go back to what I'm doing.
Redo that blush. That was not the shade.
Yes.
So you're vocal out loud when you're speaking with spirit?
I'm very vocal. I'm very like, hey, no, we're not, no. All right. Okay, I hear you. Okay, I'm going. Like,
Well, how do you hear them?
Oh.
Like, how are you getting these messages?
I don't think it's really hearing. I think it's more of a feeling.
Okay, so you feel it, and then to communicate back, you speak it.
Yes.
It's different for everyone, you know?
Yeah.
There was at one point where when I first started working in the care center, they started coming home with me. And actually my boyfriend, because we live in basically a brand new house. Like, there's nothing there. I feel like it's more in the outside of by the mountains, because it is Las Vegas. Lots of people got 86. For real. And yeah, so we live by the mountains. And so I feel like also living by the mountains, and also because where my mom used to live behind the mountains. There's a lot of activity out there. But it's more, I feel like it's more elemental nature-based spirits.
That will harm you?
Yes, if you piss them off, absolutely. Yes. So,
Thank you, Spirit Talker, for that tidbit.
new place, nothing, you know what I mean? Nothing's going on. There's no death, no nothing in the house whatsoever. And I started working in the care center. And when I first started working there, my grandma had said, hey, I think you brought something home last night. And I said, what are you talking about? Or I think you brought something home. I said, what are you talking about? And she was just like, the lights started flickering in my room, like they just turned on and then they turned off. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry about that, And then the next time I came back, my boyfriend was freaking out because when he came home from work, he said that our back door and our front door was open. And my cat, Salem, is the first one out that door the minute it opens.
Oh. My cat, Salem, pagan.
Yep.
That's, wild.
He's the first one out, and none of the animals left the house. They all stayed in the house. And actually, my dog, Emmett, rest in peace, Emmett, he was laying by the back door in the sun. And then Salem was on the bed, and then Freya was just hanging out. So,
Wow.
yeah.
They're like, I'm not going out there.
Kind of had to like put my house on lockdown and like kind of put some ground rules like, hey, don't open doors, don't move stuff around. If you want my attention, there's other ways to do it.
But you weren't like, get out of my house. You were just like, you could be here, but like,
we can't do all this.
So now you feel your house is haunted.
Not really, no.
Does it come and go? You have different things?
I think it's just basically I just put that grounds of like, hey, no, we're not doing that. And so since then, get it going. Like I just do my little like
wards up.
Yeah, my wards up. Like I have like my rosemary and but like the rosemary and the lavender and stuff like that. So and I have a lot of incense and stuff like that. So
has anyone ever walked in on you like just casually having a conversation with a spirit?
Yes. Yeah. I'm very vocal, so.
So you're vocal out loud when you're speaking with spirit?
I'm very vocal. I'm very like, hey, no, we're not, no. All right. Okay, I hear you. Okay, I'm going. Like.
Well, how do you hear them?
Oh.
Like, how are you getting these messages?
I don't think it's really hearing. I think it's more of a feeling.
Okay, so you feel it, and then to communicate back, you speak it.
Yes.
It's different for everyone, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, I like, it's really hard to explain but it's all feeling for me. It's all Like I go, okay, there it is. You know what I mean? And then sometimes I'll even get like pictures and stuff. Because I even remembered like my mom, she was actually taking care of a gentleman at the time in Belen. And she was taking care of a gentleman, what's it called? Because they had asked her for her help and stuff like that. So she was helping like organizing the house and stuff like that. And his wife had just recently died. Mind you, I have no idea about this. I have no idea who his wife was. I have no idea who he is. I never even stepped foot into his place. And basically, I'm sitting in the car, and I remember feeling a lady, like, just come in and sit behind me, and she's pissed. I don't know what she's pissed, but it's kind of funny, but she's pissed. And I could feel her, like, telling me, like, I don't appreciate your mom coming in here and taking away all of my lace and my arts and crafts. And she was like, I don't appreciate her doing this, and I don't appreciate her comments. And, you know, and why is she changing this? Why is she changing that? I don't understand. And I go, I'll tell her. That's all I can do. I told her, I said, that's all I can do. I'm sorry. I'll let her know you're pissed and let her know to watch what she's saying, you know? And she's like, yeah, I'd really appreciate that because I don't like how she's talking about me. And I don't like her. Like, she's really upsetting me. And I was like, okay, I'll let her know. I'll let her know. So my mom finishes up and she gets back in the car.
I'm behind you now.
Okay. And what's it called? And she, you okay?
And then it went away. Sorry.
And so my mom got back in the car and I said, hey, Mom. And she goes, hey. And I said, can I tell you something without you calling me absolutely insane like you usually do? And she goes,
No.
yeah.
Like,
But she was
lay it on me.
She was like, what is it? And I said, well, I don't know who it is. I said, but I think it's this guy's wife. And I said, she's very irritated with you. Very irritated with you. And she was like, she looked at me. She goes, what do you mean? And I was like, I don't know. I said, but she's really upset that you're moving all of her lace and her floral stuff, and she's just really mad and she doesn't like your comments. And my mom's just like turns completely white. And I was like, and like this lady even gave me details about herself, that she was a redhead. Like she was like, and if she doesn't believe you, I'm a freaking redhead and I'm this and I'm that. And I was like, okay. And so I mean, she was full on. She was a very, very upfront. She needed to get this message out.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know what's going on.
Like, I've done this before, honey.
Yeah,
I'm very particular.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. She just keeps talking about like her lace and her florals. And I said, she's really upset that you're taking them out and you're removing them. And I said, she's really upset with your commentary about them. I don't know. I said, this is just what I'm getting. And she told me I needed to give it to you. So like, this is the message I'm giving to you. And my mom was just like so white. And my mom just like looks at me and my mom's like, this gentleman's wife passed away and all of his house stuff is like everything she made was lace. And like she had like the lace tablecloths. She had the lace like cup holders. And
You getting rid of it all?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, my mom was packing it up.
Here's a theory for you. You said she made all of it. So like maybe her energy maybe her energy was so strong there because it was all handmade.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Your
think about
energy.
pouring something of yourself.
Yeah, I told my mom too. I said, I even think that she follows you yelling at you. So I think you really need to pay attention to that. And then the funnier part was that when I said the floral, I said, I don't know what's floral in there. I said, probably everything. I said, but something floral. And my mom said, I just got rid of his bed sheets that were floral because they were hers. And I felt like he needed more of a solid color because he is an older gentleman living on his own.
Oh, that pissed her off.
Oh, that pissed her off so bad.
Why do you need to change the sheets?
Yes,
like those are our sheets.
Ever since then, my mom's really stopped questioning me and has full on like, okay, like
I'll stop.
Oh, listen.
stop suppressing it. Like my mom had seen photos of her. So when I said she was a redhead,
She was like, okay.
yeah, my mom was like, okay.
You haven't even been into this house. Like,
Yeah, I had never stepped foot because I'm not, it's not my house. And my mom's in there like helping out. And I was just going to pick her up from it. So
Station here.
Is Is stationed in the car.
Stationed in the car, yep. So, and I mean, that lady popped right in and said, we need to talk.
Get your mom out of my house.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tell her to leave my floral sheets the hell alone.
Yeah, exactly. Leave the lace alone.
Say it was holding a lot of her energy that she could, because that was probably one of the most, like, let's say having that all together. Like, if that was what was keeping you able to stay alive that way, you would do whatever you could to keep your lace things together and not want that person to move on because she's able to hold on.
Exactly. And I really do feel like maybe that lady was trying to just hang out until her husband, until he was ready. So I think she wanted to be the first one to meet up with him. So I think she was very like, don't touch my shit. Excuse my language, but don't.
Like, I'm still comfortable here. This is how I like it.
Yes.
Interesting. That is such an interesting thought. That kind of blew my mind, actually. Well, thank you for sharing that story with us.
Yeah, definitely.
And now we're going to pack up and take you ghost hunting.
Sounds good.
How do you think she's going to do?
Oh, I think this is going to be an amazing episode.
This is going to be great. This is going to be so fun.
I feel like we've gotten so many responses already.
Dude, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they were just kind of just popping in the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, we didn't touch on everything that was said because obviously some of it could be random, but there was definitely a few things that were
lined up with our investigation here last night. Yeah, maybe last Monday's episode. I don't know. I have no energy. Close it out, Savannah. Take it away.
just that.
The lady attacks people.
The lady attacks people. It's the blonde lady. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but yeah.
It's the lady that Savannah was vibing last night.
No, what the heck?
And we'll see you at the next summoning.
Bye, Darklings.